Assalamualaikum, kia ora. Today we'll be talking about a book titled Happiness in Islamic Marriage. The show is being dedicated to a discussion about a special book. The book is titled Happiness in Islamic Marriage, written by Brother Fareed Ahmed, and we're fortunate to have him with us today. I'll be asking him a few questions on your behalf to help simplify the key messages from the book, making them easier for us to all understand and benefit from. If you're listening live, feel free to share your comments too. This is an important book and we believe it's worth exploring in more depth. Today we'll start with a general overview, and in future episodes we may share highlights and practical tips from each chapter. You can find the book on the Voice of Islam website. A link will display at the bottom of the screen throughout the discussion. We encourage you to read it and share your feedback. So Brother Freed presents practical advice supported by verses from the Quran, Hadith, and real-life examples to make the content relatable. We'd like to congratulate him on his hard work and dedication. Brother Freed has also authored other titles such as Anger Control in Islam, which are available on our website as well. He offers his work purely for the sake of dawah, seeking only the pleasure of Allah. So please keep him in your dua. May Allah grant him a long life and continued strength to serve his deen. Please share today's show with the intention of earning reward from Allah. Your support and involvement are part of the effort to spread his message. Brother Freed, how are you? Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. I hope you are well. I hope all the listeners are well.
Alhamdulillah, we're all well here,
Yes.
and likewise, hope everyone is well wherever they are, watching or listening, in New Zealand and throughout the world, wherever they might be, inshallah.
Inshallah.
So, Brother Freed, let's move straight into it. So, what inspired you to write the book Happiness in Islamic Marriage?
Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad. Allahumma rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. So all the praise to Allah, thanks to Allah, and peace and mercy be upon Allah's messenger, the last messenger, all the messengers, and also wishing happiness and peace on everyone else. So may Allah guide me to say the right thing, inshallah. I'll try my best. So what has inspired me writing this book? I have been teaching the children and some adults for last 21 years, 26 years now. So I had to deliver speech on different topics, and marriage and happiness in marriage was one of those topics that has drawn me to learn more and to share more. So that was one motivation, but basically because I was also married, and I was very much keen to learn the secret of happiness in my marriage. And that is the most honest motivation I had, because I wanted to be happy in marriage. I grew up in Bangladesh, and I left Bangladesh when I was 25, and then I came to New Zealand. So after coming to New Zealand, maybe 6 years after, then I got married. So I had the opportunity to see the life in Bangladesh, people around me in marriages, and I had opportunity to see the life in New Zealand. Also, about marriage, I saw the good side, I saw the bad side, and that has given me also a motivation that uh, I needed to learn more and I needed to share more. So that was another reason that inspired me. And then for last 14 years or so, I have been a marriage celebrant, independent marriage celebrant in New Zealand. So I do it voluntarily, not for money, because I find it is an opportunity to help a couple to get married, and also uh, always I try to give a talk. I give tips to the couple and to the audience according to Quran and Sunnah, and I talk about different aspects of marriage. But most important one people want to hear is how to be happy in marriage, because for some people marriage is a scary thing. Some people, I found, they think that happiness in marriage is a fairy tale. It is not possible to be happy. Some people, they do not uh, know so much uh, about the marriage, because they do not have any training. In many Muslim countries, there is no training before marriage. So, a lot of Muslims with good hearts, good intentions, they are not trained, they are not gaining knowledge, particularly in marriage side. So, I observed that lack of knowledge, often they struggle in their marriage. Also, I observed that many Muslims, they think that happiness in marriage will come automatically from the heaven, and they just have to say qabiltu and qabiltu, I accept, and then they automatically become qualified to be happy in marriage. I saw many people like that. As a marriage celebrant, I not only did conduct many marriages, but I had also been counseling many couples, and that gave me a huge opportunity to understand some reasons where the happiness is. Uh, these reasons are obstructing to the happiness. So one of those reasons I found that some people, they are not keen to learn about marriage before the marriage. So that is another reason. And then I also found out that in some marriages, so much misunderstanding, because they have mixed up the culture and the religion together, and it has become a hodgepodge. So that has given lots of misunderstanding. So they think that they are doing right, but they are not checking with the authentic Quranic message and hadith, and without realizing they are actually practicing the culture, the tradition from the family and society they have learned, and that's why marriages are suffering. Happiness is not there. So when I saw all these things, I uh, thought that maybe I could do more research in this, and that will increase my knowledge, will help me to be achieving happiness in my marriage, and then I could share it with other people for the sake of Allah. So that was my main reasons, my main inspirations. That from my observation, I saw happiness in marriage is struggling in so many Muslim couples. And I wanted to be happy, and I wanted to share my understanding of happiness in marriage with other people, so that inshallah I hope that many other people will be benefited from it. And that's why I have written it, and I pray to Allah that Allah accept it. Allah accept my work, because I have written it. I have spent hundreds of hours only for the pleasure of Allah, not for anything else. So I hope I have answered your question.
Jazakallah, Brother Fred. Yes, you answered the question. So, yeah, it's like you said, you spent many, many hours putting it together, and a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of research, and it's not an easy topic to talk about because everyone's got their own opinion on this and that on to do with these sort of things. But alhamdulillah, you've got a lot of background experience from life in itself. Yourself, like you were married, but also dealing with the community in a big way, meeting lots of different people. And like you said, in Maurice, last 14 so years, you a marriage celebrant, so you even had more experience there and also counselling. So you're sort of looking from all different aspects. And I suppose you could tell a lot of stories about, different things and people's different ideas and that sort of thing. Some to probably the most humbling and some to the most far-fetched of what human can think of and do. So next question is, so what were your main goals in writing this book?
Okay, before I answer that, Sister One, Asma, One Ahmad, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. And I hope you and your family are good. So make dua for us, and we make dua for you, inshallah. So the question is, what is the aim? What is the goal? I wanted to explain in this book. So I targeted three main aspects in my book, and they are: one is happiness, two is marriage, and three is Islamic. So these are three main things I wanted to explain in my book. So I will go little bit more about one after another. So the first one is happiness. So happiness is something everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy, but a lot of time I have experienced people explain that why my marriage is not happy. And either they try to put the blame on others. For example, husband would blame the wife, or wife would blame the husband, and they try to get some gratification by putting the responsibility on others' head, or sometimes they would give up and they would say, oh, we are unfortunate. They accept their bad fate. We are unfortunate, and that's why probably we are not happy in our marriage. In both way, they are wrong, because happiness is something Allah wants to have in them. Allah wants them to enjoy the happiness, but for it, they do not focus on their responsibilities, because happiness has to be earned. You cannot just expect to be happy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given all the tools. So if I give an example that about the cooking, so we need ingredients to make a nice food, but to turn that ingredients and the meat or vegetables into a nice food, we go to work. Now we go to pick up the right veggie, we go to pick up the right meat, we go to pick up the right spices, and we bring them together, and then we have to work hard. We have to follow a process. We have to use all the tools, all the techniques, all the right heat, all the right ingredients, put them together, make it work, and then it come out a nice, beautiful dish that we can enjoy. So similarly, happiness is an outcome. Like a food dish is outcome, but behind that, everything was there. So happiness in marriage is an outcome, and behind that outcome, Allah has given us knowledge, guidance, talent, heart, love, mercy, all these tools. And it is our responsibility is to utilize all these nice tools, all the nice ingredients, put them into the right place, practice them, and then the result will be happiness. So I try to explain this, that happiness is not automatically is coming on us until we work it. Also, I explained that it is not a matter of fortunate or unfortunate, but it is a matter that Allah has given us tools and responsibility. So we have to responsibly use the tools as wife, as husband, and then we have to work to achieve happiness. And when we work in the right way, in the right direction, according to Allah's guidance, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless us in marriage with happiness. Uh, in happiness, I have also tried to uh, I have tried to include that what sort of things damages the happiness, and what sort of things increases the happiness, and why lot of divorces are taking place. We may think that we are unlucky, but no, it also uh, comes to our responsibility. uh, I have tried to cover that uh, why some people are thinking negative uh, about the happiness, and they think it is a fairy tale. So all these things regarding happiness, what I have done lots of common sense things. In my research, I did not put things that is high thought and not generally understood. I try to use the common sense along with Quranic tips and tips from Hadith to make it understandable. And I have tried to put not just a long essay. I have tried to break out happiness into many many issues, many many points, so that even if you are a teacher, you can use it for your teaching, because you can take the points. It's not like one long essay, but you can use the points. If you are a speaker, if you are a khatib, you can also take the points, and you can explain it in your own way. So my writing is, I think, suitable for the common reader, suitable for the teachers, ustazes, suitable for the khatibs. And that's why I have tried to put into many 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 points. Then the second aspect I try to explain is marriage, because marriage is very much understood in these days. So when I came to New Zealand, it was a culture shock for me. And I used to talk to non-Muslim friends about marriage, and some of their philosophy shocked me. and uh, I appreciate, every type of belief, and to understand, uh, uh, with the comparison of our Islamic faith with other belief, I try to listen to anyone, everyone, if I have the opportunity. It is to deepening my understanding, and I do not, uh, fight with anyone. I do not argue with anyone. That is not my nature. I try to learn quietly if something I can learn, and I also try to explain quietly if I have something to contribute. So, part of that process, I used to hear comments like that marriage is a piece of paper, nothing else. Marriage is a piece of paper. So, my worry was that what if Muslims living in a non Muslim culture and they are hearing these things and they start believing in that, yeah, marriage is a piece of paper. It is a thing that, you sign, and then after a couple of years, one uh, part takes another part to the court and claim for money. So many young people, Muslims even, it is shocking, and you will be shocked. I find that they do not have, uh, they do not have courage, uh, and inspiration towards the marriage. They're scared, and they're scared if it doesn't work, then they have to share their property. So money matter has become a big issue, which is quite unfortunate because they do not probably truly realize the depth of marriage. The depth of marriage is not about money, it is more than that. So on one hand, marriage is a common thing in every culture because this is the oldest tradition. Every culture, they understand marriage. They like marriage. They like marriage party. They like nice food in marriage, etc., etc. But as a Muslim, I try to explain that for Muslim, what is marriage? For example, uh, how marriage did come into place. Who was the people who got married at first in the chain of humanity, like Adam and Eve? Uh, and who was the marriage celebrant? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. So starting with that marriage is something Allah has ordained. Allah has been the marriage celebrant. And then the first man, Adam alayhi salam, he was a messenger also, and honorable Hawa, they were engaged in marriage. The marriage took place in paradise. So marriage is part of also happiness in paradise. So it goes a lot, it is a deep thing. And if we Muslim understand it better, then we can appreciate the prescription from Allah to get married and to be happy. So I try to explain the marriage, uh, from that point of view, and also why marriage is necessary, how marriage you know will be helpful to take people to paradise quicker and easier, and you know why uh, we should increase our knowledge about marriage so that we can avoid misunderstanding, and we can also try to be happy, etc., etc. So marriage is nothing to do with wealth. We should focus more on marriage rather than wealth, rather than selfish nature. And this is where you know uh, people get mixed up, and because of this mixing up, sometimes they put more emphasis on money, on property, on position, etc., etc., rather than the pure uh, beauty of marriage and pure benefit of marriage. So I tried to explain as much as I could about the marriage and its important. The last point I tried to explain is Islamic, because happiness, marriage, uh, these terms are common to humanity, and everyone from every angle, from their own faith, from their own culture, from their own desire, they are trying to be happy in their marriage. But I wanted to understand and explain that how Islamic belief, Islamic guidance can guide us to be happy in marriage. Because as far as our faith teaches us, that happiness is something, it has a source. Without a source, nothing comes out. So happiness comes out from somewhere, and that somewhere is the creator of happiness. And Allah is the creator of happiness. Every blessings we enjoy is from Allah. Every blessings. And happiness is one of those blessings. So it is from Allah. And if we really and truly want to achieve happiness, then we have no other way but to surrender to Allah. We have to go to Allah. If we don't, then we are not going to the right, the absolutely right source. If we are away from this, then we'll get some little shower, but we will not get to the right and real source of happiness. And Islam can give this, because Islam is also rooted from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is Allah's guidance. So happiness is from Allah, Islam is from Allah, and Allah has given us Islamic guidance to practice it, to understand it, to follow it, and to use it properly into the right time, into the right situation to achieve happiness. So that's how I try to explain that in terms of marriage, Islamic marriage, how much do we know about Islam? How much are we keen to learn about Islam for our happy marriage? Are we doing as Muslim enough justice with knowing Islamic guidance about marriage? According to my observation, I see a large number of Muslims. They do not know much about the Islamic guidance. As I said before, they have mixed up some Islamic guidance and some cultural guidance. And many times the couple do not even know how to differentiate what they are doing in marriage is Islamic and what they are doing is not Islamic. So I try to explain the Islamic guidance from Quran and Sunnah in relation to the Islamic marriage and in relation to achieve happiness through Islamic guidance. I think, I hope I have answered your question.
Jazakallah, Brother Freed. Yes, I think you have. It's one of these things like anything. Like you want to get a university degree, postgraduate, professorship, PhD, and things like that. You have to study, work hard, but you have to study the right things for that degree, for that PhD, to get that result. And it's the same with marriage. You have to work hard. You have to understand what makes it go and what doesn't. There's a whole lot of different things related to that, and it comes down to the personalities. Sometimes it's the in-laws, and some people call them the outlaws, and all different things that take part of that. And it's like trying to work your way through all these different things. And there's also a famous saying. It says like, uh, uh, "Be happy no matter what the weather." So we shouldn't be going in and out of this happiness just because some things go down. Yes, it's sometimes you're emotional and things like that, but we need to just step up and quickly overcome that, and then just get back on track, not just hold things and keep them inside. These sort of things, it becomes like a joint thing where work together, you communicate. All things in life is based about communication. Everything we do each day is to do with communication. You go to the doctor, you communicate. You go to the supermarket, you communicate. Everywhere. So this has got to be the same. It's got to be, talking and listening and talking and listening. And like I keep saying, and a lot of people have also said it. Allah gave us one mouth and two ears, so we need to listen twice as much as we talk. So it's better to stay quiet and just listen and take it in, and utilize that utilize what they're taking in, so you can understand where the other side is coming from. Even no matter what you're doing in work and things like that, you need to listen and understand. Because we don't listen, everyone's talking. No one's listening, so no one's doing their own. They're just doing their own thing, and it just becomes chaos. So, Brother Fred, let's move on to the next
Yes.
question, inshallah. So, could you give us an overview of what readers can expect from the book?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So it's I would say it is a book with the basic informations, because I always like to start with the basic. I'm not a scholar, but I'm a learner, and I try to take me down to the learning level. I never think myself there. So the reason is that if I stay in basic, then I can resonate my writing with common people like me. So I have tried to put myself into the shoes of readers, into the shoes of learners, and that way I thought about questions, and then I tried to answer, so that it will be very practical thing and not very sophisticated thing. So this book is not very long, but another one is coming, inshallah, Iman, Islamic faith. It's going to be quite long. Uh, so it will be ready in a couple of months, or maybe before then. I have put more energy in there because Iman is the foundation. And without understanding Iman very well, our foundation will be weaker. In this book, it is only about 160 pages, so not very long. But specifically for happiness in Islamic marriage, it is quite long. But for the readers, it is short. 160 pages, you can just finish in few days. And it has 7 chapters. So I will go through the chapters, 7 of them, just to give a briefing. So one chapter is called Happiness in Marriage, where I have tried to explain the importance of happiness, meaning of happiness, and what sort of things we can do. So just explaining the importance of happiness in marriage. It has a lot of tips about it. So when you read, inshallah, you'll find out. Then the second chapter is Secrets of Happiness in Marriage. So in there, I have thought of some of the real belief, the real understanding about the secrets, about the root of happiness, uh, and where we should really focus, uh, on happiness. And with understanding of the roots, we can be clear that what sort of roots can uh, uh, grow happiness from it. So I try to give some inner thoughts in it. Then the third chapter is building foundation of happy marriage. So try to explain that happy marriage is like a, a building, a strong building. And for any strong building, you need to lay a foundation. If your foundation is set on the happiness as an outcome, then happiness will be expected. If the foundation is weak, then it is going to suffer when any challenges come. The fourth chapter is about a love in marriage for happiness. And love is a common thing that everybody understand. uh, any culture, they understand love is an important thing. But at the same time, I found many couple of years before, they had done their wedding. I officiated, and then a couple of years after, they come and they say we want divorce. I asked them with shock, with wonder, what happened? So they answer, we loved each other before, and now we do not love one another. So when we had love, we wanted marriage. Now we have no love, we don't want any marriage. So there are misunderstanding about love, in my experience. And some people, they think that love should be the only reason for getting married, and without loving at first, arranged marriage is not good enough. So there are so many misunderstanding about love. Some people even do not understand what is pure love and what is fake love, what is dangerous love and what is selfish love. So we are talking about love, and love is known everywhere. But we need to pinpoint that what sort of love we need for happy marriage. Selfish love, crazy love, love without moderation and guidance, extreme love, or dangerous love. There are so many types of love. I have tried to explain in that chapter, love in marriage, for happy marriage, love in marriage. And I think this is a very important chapter for the common people like me. We really need to understand, what kind of love destroys the happiness in marriage, and what kind of love increases the happiness in marriage. So then another chapter is best choices for happiness in marriage. So our life is about making choices. Every day we face situation and we make our choice. We choose whether to go into this direction, or we choose to go another direction. So in terms of choices, we have three kinds of choices. One kind of choices is positive, very positive. Another kind of choice is very negative, And third kind of choice is in the middle, just dwindling like this. These people, when they make their choice, they are not resolute, they are not confident, they are not um, with enough knowledge and confidence, and that's why they are persuaded by others, persuaded by cultures, persuaded by peer pressure, etc., etc. So, if we really want to make our uh, marriages happy, then we have to be certain about our right choices, and we have to stick to the right choices. So, I have tried to explain those things uh, into that chapter. And then another chapter is chapter 6 is giving up bad qualities for happy marriages. So, you have to be very certain about it, because in the garden, if you have a nice vegetable, if you plant nice vegetable, and at the same time you allow the weeds to grow, then one will destroy another. And usually the weeds will destroy your vegetable, because weeds, they grow fast, they do not need much care, you do not need to make so much efforts. If you want to grow weeds, you do not need to even water them, there will be heaps. And if you do not remove them, then within a week, within a month, you will see that the weeds have taken over your vegetables. Your vegetables are dying, but weeds are flourishing. So, to get something best, we have to sacrifice something. To get something best, we have to get rid of something. And in human nature, we have good choices, we have bad choices, because in our heart, in our heart, we have two sides. One side is tendency towards the wrong thing. Another side, we have tendency towards the good thing, the best thing. So if we really want to achieve best thing in marriage, for example, happiness, with love, with mercy, with our best choices, best decisions, etc., etc., then we must give up the weeds, the bad choices, and that's a continuous learning. But before marriage, we can go through some training, some education, to identify what are the bad things, bad choices that infects the happiness in marriage. So if we identify, and that's why knowledge is important. Allah said that those who know and those who do not know are not the same, because a knowledgeable one, they know what harms and how to get rid of them. So with the knowledge, how we can identify the damaging things into the happiness of our marriage, and with that confirmation, certainty of knowledge, we have to decide that these things we must get rid of. We have to clean our heart from that kind of bad choices, bad nature. I try to explain that. And then the last chapter is self checking in marriage for happiness. Self checking. And self checking, many people are afraid to check their own, uh, good and bad. They are quite scared, because they do not want to see the wrong thing in them. They like to believe that they are the perfect husbands and perfect wives. And this is a reality. Very much reality. I see it often, and I often smile about it. And little thing you can also observe. For example, you will see, from your friend, they have children. And then if children is misbehaving, do a little test. Ask the mother who got the resemblance, with that misbehavior, you or your husband. She will point out, it's not me, it's him. And you ask the husband, it is funny. He will say, it's not me, it's her. Okay? Why do we say this? Why sometimes we are not sure whether it is from me or from her. The bad habit, who had it at first, and that has gone to the children because we do not do the self checking. We like to believe, or we like to build a false palace of imagination. And that false palace is that I am right, I am good. And as a husband or wife, I'm doing the best part. It is my opposite part is doing all the screwing up. But if we learn Islamically the importance of self-checking and checking our own contribution or own destruction before we are facing the court of Allah on the day of judgment, if we learn that we need to find out our own thing, we need to judge ourselves before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge us, then it becomes so easy. It's become so easy. One way I used to learn, and I'll tell you, between my wife and I used to learn. Sometimes I used to say to her, I have time today, and I want to give you a job. What is it? You tell me what sort of weakness, wrong you see in me as a husband. And I'm sitting with pen and paper. Be honest. Short me. Say anything honestly that comes to your mind. I will not mind. And I used to write down. And after that, I did my prayer. I sat down and went through the list one by one, checking myself. Is it real that I am weak in that part? Is it true that I'm still not perfect in that part? And believe me, that self checking made me a different person. If I didn't, and if I traditionally just thought, oh, I'm a perfect husband, then that would be a disaster. So I discussed about that we Muslims in our marriage, husband or wife, we need to do some self checking. We need to look at our own manner, own behavior, even own intentions. Sometimes, that what are we doing? What do we want? Are we really contributing towards the happiness in our marriage? Or are we damaging it by ourselves? So I think that is a good chapter. That is a good chapter. It will give lots of tips that how we can do the self check-in. So basically, that is what I have tried to cover with this 7th chapter. So started with the introduction of happiness and finishing with self-checking. Because without self-checking, we would not know which level are we in contributing the marriage, happiness in marriage, or which level are we destroying the happiness in marriage. So I'll stop here, brother Muhammad Thompson. Hope I have answered.
Yeah, I think you have very well, and I think the first and the last chapter, especially the last one, the self-checking, I think is probably the most important one. And I think it's apt being at the end because you go through all the other bits and then say, well, now this is what you really got to do to find out what's going on.
Yes.
In my case, I'm not sure whether one day would be enough to each time to do a self
We all are
to get a
learners.
self check. I think I'd have to set aside maybe I don't know a week or two or more or something like this. But that's another story. So let's move on to the last question we have. Hopefully, we've got some time for that, inshallah. So, why do you believe this book is essential reading for Muslims today?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Well, one very important reason is, you will see the all the good things is not only good for the health, but also good for the bad stuff. So, for example, if you are talking about milk, milk is very much beneficial for our health. So, we love it. Unless some people have some milk intolerance and they can treat it with homeopathy. By the way, because I had milk intolerance for many years, milk used to give me diarrhea, and I had taken lots of medications and didn't work. And then finally, I took homeopathy, and for last 6 years, I never suffered from milk intolerance. So this is just by the by came up. I'm not advertising, but this is a fact, and I think if someone is struggling with the milk, can be helped with homeopathy. Coming back to the point that milk is good for the health, I love it. When Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Mi'raj, then in Masjid al-Aqsa, he was tested by milk and wine without telling him which glass was what. And Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had taken the milk. And Jibreel alayhi salam said, this is an indication you are on the right track, you are on the natural track, you are on the right faith. So milk is so good, isn't it? But the bacteria, they also love milk. So you want a sip, they also want to have a share. So bacteria, they comes in if you are not careful. And then this bacteria, they use it and they make it poisonous. Then you drink it, instead of getting health, it becomes a poison and you suffer from sickness. Similarly, happiness in marriage. Marriage is the best thing, like milk. And happiness in marriage is super best, the purest form of milk. We love it, we need it, it gives us joy. It makes our marriage life like a living paradise. But there are bacteria. They are always there to make it poisonous, to make it infectious. And those bacteria are wrong ideas, lack of knowledge to start with. Lack of knowledge, without right knowledge, without Islamic knowledge, if you bring wrong ideas into your marriage, you are allowing the bacteria to come in. You bring wrong cultural practices and traditions, in your pure happiness in marriage, you are allowing the bacteria to come in and it will poison it. It will turn your happy marriage into a living hell. Imagine when husband and wife are happy, then without food, without luxury, they have the richness in their relationship because they are happy. But if they are not happy and they are billionaires, they are trillionaires, then they are the most suffering people because their happiness is infected. And that can be by lack of knowledge, wrong ideas, wrong practices, wrongly following the wrong cultural expectations, traditions, etc., etc. So, therefore, what I am trying to say, if we want to flourish the happiness in our marriage, then we need to know that what will infect our happiness and what will save us from that, you know, from that infection from bacteria and virus. How can we do this? We can do this by learning more and more about Islam, about Islamic marriage. And I think this is the best reason I can think of that why we need to read this book, because inshallah this book has lots of tips from Quranic verses and from hadith and from common sense practical learnings. And I believe that with our increased knowledge, we can protect our happiness, we can increase our happiness, and we can put a safeguard walls around our happiness to be saved from unhappiness. Another point I would like to say that the marriage, happy marriage, is so important that the shaitan puts huge energy, huge efforts to bring unhappiness into the marriage. There is a long hadith, and the gist is that the leader shaitan, he takes reports from his workers every day. So he sits down on water on his chair, calls everyone, Jinn Shaitan, what have you done today? So one say, oh, I inspired someone to lie. Shaitan say, you have not done anything. Another one say, I inspired, motivated a businessman to cheat his customer. He say, you have not done anything. Then one, he stands up and says, I'm not sure whether I have done something best or not, but I have done something today. The man Shaitan say, tell me. He said, I have put something between a husband and wife. They were happy in their marriage and now they are fighting. Then Shaitan says, you are the champion. You have done the best thing. So he stand up, gives that Shaitan a standing ovation and put his crown on his head. So from this hadith we find the Shaitans are busy to destroy the happiness between husband and wife. How can we protect ourselves and our happiness from Shaitan? by increasing knowledge. And this book is not much, but I believe it gives a tiny little knowledge that will help us, me, you, readers, to understand more and to be able to build a greater and stronger protecting wall around us so that Shaitan cannot enter, Shaitan cannot cheat us, cannot deceive us, and cannot make us suffer. So, looking at the time, our time is up. All who are joining us, Jazakumullah khair. May Allah bless you. And also, please read the book. Uh, and if you like it, use it in any way possible, spread it in any way possible. Inshallah, uh, if my book is right, then you know I can see a teacher joining from Ministry of Education probably. If you can include my book in your syllabus, that will be wonderful. If you like it, so may Allah Subhanahu wa Taala give us increased knowledge, and may Allah Subhanahu wa Taala guide us to practice the right thing, take right decisions, make right choices, and to be happy in our marriage, and to make a happy home, to make a happy family, and to raise our children to be a happy uh, future generation, so that we can be a great part in spreading the happiness in this world. Ameen. Subhanak Allahumma bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu